systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everybody? Happy UFC 301. Man, what a sports weekend we got. MLB, NBA playoffs has absolutely been amazing. MMA, NASCAR. I don't know if you're going like this, like golf.
Kentucky Derby, 150th.
There you go. Kentucky Derby, 150th right there. So much action, so much money to be made. Ready to talk some fights with my man, Big Marley. Ben in here, Lone Wolf, Jackie Pepper, Little Neck, Joanne, Siggy. Appreciate everyone hanging out live, watching on playback. It is also the first week of the MMA live final. 100 goes down to 40, 40 to 15, either next week or 2 weeks. 15 get flown out. Multiple Shipping Nation members in there. Good luck. Hoop, 2 tickets. Good luck. Deepwater, 1 ticket. My man, good luck. Hold on, got to get the other name right here. Hold on, I'm going to find it. JP Bar 04 as well. Good luck to you guys. I myself also have 1. Good luck to myself. I will say it because I damn well need it. I'm 0 for 2 these past 2 years. 2 years ago, got past round 1, not round 2. Last year, man, almost dead last round 1. So I'm going to say good luck to myself as well. Big Marley, throw you in here. 13 fights, 1 loss. But hey, at least we had 14. 14 to 13 isn't bad. Like 12 to 11 is the stone cold worst. 14-13, not bad at all. How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. If we had to lose a fight, I guess that's one that I was okay losing. But it's a tough card, man. I'm having trouble finding underdogs on this card. We lost one of the underdogs that I was picking to win. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I'm glad we got 150K up top. Hopefully we'll take it down. Hopefully you move on in the finals. But yeah, looking forward to breaking this card down with you.
Yeah, 150K up top, and there's I think 80,000 or something like that. Is that $3 150 max? Very excited for that contest. I think it's a good MME card. It's an interesting one. We're headed to Brazil, which is always interesting. A lot of big favorites. I'm seeing minus 700, minus 550, minus 645s, minus 400, minus 600. So that part makes it a little tricky. We lost this William Gomes fight. Man, it's really scary. Like, I don't know how in the world is Camp like 135 and a half. Like, he was puking before, carried out after. Hopefully he's doing better. That fight was going to go off probably about a pick 'em. It was 8,600, 7,600. So I thought Gomes was going to be one of the more popular dogs because of money line value, even though I didn't love it in GPPs for upside. But now I think all of the upside, actually, I'm going to go look at our projected ownership right now. Again, up or will be up at shippingnation.com. Marley has it on our page right here. Projections will be up, everything after. Steve Erceg is going to be far and away. Yeah, I see it the same as you. Erceg is going to be far and away the biggest dog. Otherwise, I think they'll be mixed and matched down there. And up top, I think it's going to be mixed and matched, and ownership's going to be relatively spread out too. We have nobody above 50% on this card, and I think that probably is the case. And I wouldn't be surprised if Erceg gets a little steam to like the 45 to high 40s range, just with no dogs there. But broad slate overview, ownership relatively spread out. A lot of big favorites. You can leave money with fights in the mid-tier. 8,800, 7,400 is the main event. Some solid mid-tier fights. Brito Shore, it's easier to leave money. Oralbay Brenner should be a solid fight. Costa Borralho to kick it off. Any broad slate overview before we go fight by fight?
No, not really. I think it's kind of mix in at least one of the 9K fighters in almost every lineup and then see what you can do from there. But this is a card where I don't know that I'm going to have any lineups with more than like $1,000 on the table, just because I don't like very many underdogs on this card. And I do want to get those high priced fighters in if I can. So I think if I end up shipping it this weekend, I'll probably tie with at least one person listening, but I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll always take a tie with one person, especially nowadays. People a little ahead of the curve. Like you talked 2 years ago, even a year ago, like people weren't understanding the duplication game, the showdown game. People do understand it now. It's so much harder to get unique with good quality lineups you think can ship. I'm always aiming for like 5 or under, even 10 or under is a pretty solid number there. But yeah, just have a plan, know what you're playing for. What's going on, G. Kuiper, Camera Bro in here as well, Micah Peterson. Hope y'all doing well. Again, like button helps us out a ton. Subscribe button helps us out a ton. And if you're not a member at the Nation, there is literally, we say it a decent amount, no better time to join. There's no really better time. There's no NFL, unfortunately, but there's every other sport going on. PGA, MMA, NBA, MLB, NHL playoffs, NASCAR, all of that. But also, as many of you guys probably already know, the Shiptimizer. We do have an optimizer called the Shiptimizer. Tambo and Hoop released it on Wednesday on the PGA show. Definitely make sure to go check out the first 20, 25 minutes of that show. Answered a lot of questions on it, explained. Right now, if you're a Shipping Nation member, you have access to the Shiptimizer for free to mess around with it, to try it out. If you're not a member, Millie 15% off. You see expires in a week. He put that on Wednesday. Get in, monthly, 6-month annual package, or an MLB only, a PGA only. If you're watching this MMA show, you probably want all of it. 15% off the membership, and you get the optimizer for the 30-day trial. After that, it will be charged. Still, by far the cheapest in the industry, under $100 for content and the Shiptimizer. MMA will be added. NASCAR will be added in a month as well. You can't mess with it right now. You can mess with MLB, you can mess with PGA. But again, MMA will be there. NASCAR will be there. If you MMA, you definitely need an optimizer, unless you got all the time in the world to hand build. Some do, so I'm not going to hate on that one bit. If I make over 5 teams, I use an optimizer. If I make 1 team, most of the time I still make an optimizer. Projections loaded, ownership loaded. Very excited for that. Again, Millie 15 is the promo code if you want to give us a try. Optimizer is with it for free for 30 days to try out. But again, that will be paid. Still the cheapest in the industry, though. Tyler, what's going on? We are back indeed. Hope you're doing well. Big Marley, you ready to talk some fights, man?
Let's get it.
Let's get it. Bottom of the top, like usual. First fight of the night. Man, banger and the closest line fight. So I'm really excited to hear what you got to say in this one. Alessandro Costa, Kevin Borjas, minus 119 Costa, minus 101 is Borjas. Minus 140 for this fight to finish. Borjas, the slight underdog with a little better inside the distance line. Borjas plus 195, Costa plus 220. Throw it to you right away in the mid-tier, 8,200, 8K. Closest price, closest line fight, expected to finish. I'm going to have some exposure on both sides. Excited to hear your take on this one, though. What do you see?
Yeah, good fight to target, I think. Right there in the mid-range, so it's going to be easy to fit in the lineups. I think both guys are in play, and I do think the winner of this fight probably does score 10x or more with 100-point upside as well. I think it's a really close fight on the feet. Maybe Borjas is our better minute winner, but I think Costa has more power. I also think Costa is the better wrestler of the two. So ultimately, I do side with Costa as who I favor in this fight, but not enough where like I'm going to get a whole lot of leverage on him and be under on Borjas. I'm fine getting leverage to both of these guys if I can. There's not a whole lot of fights where I want to target both sides of heavily, but this is one where I'm fine getting 25% or more of both of these guys. But I do think Costa has the more likely ceiling with KO upside or wrestling. So he's going to be my preferred play, but I have no real confidence in it. And if you go out there and you tell Borjas, I might switch my side, to be honest with you. So just a good fight to target right out of the gates. You don't want to see this fight score 110 and not have it. So this one, I'd say there's a lot of fights I like, but it's top 5 fight for me for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I threw it to you first for a reason because I didn't have a strong lead, Big Marley, and I don't. Like, I lead Costa with you just because I think the wrestling upside is there. Like, if someone does get 4 takedowns, 6 minutes of control time, I feel like it has to be on the Costa side. He's still powerful. I like the leg kicks, but there's no confident take. I was on Costa all week, but the line has only shrunk. April 29th, 4 days ago, minus 153 was Costa. Now he's sitting at minus 119. So I've been on Costa most of the week without a strong take, but seeing the line go the other way, I didn't love to see. Borjas, a little better finishing prop. 200 savings for Borjas, which isn't a bunch, but if you leave a $200 in your lineup or 300, you can maybe eliminate a 30 dupe lineup to a 15 or something little like that, which if you're telling me that's the case, you're splitting half your dupes just because you went Borjas over Costa. I think that's definitely the sharp side in certain lineups. So To be honest, these are a couple fights on this card. I don't care really where my ownership lands on this. I want a decent amount of both. But if I had 40% Costa and 20% Borjas, or if I had 40% Borjas or 20% Costa, I'd be fine with either as long as I like my other stuff. So not a strong take, lean on either side. But I do like this fight. 8,200, 8K. Like, I like this fight way more than Aldo Martinez when talking DFS, which is right there in the mid-tier as well. So I'm definitely going to have plenty of this fight to start it off. And playing these guys, like, these guys can put up 110, the winner, a first-round knockout, score 110, 115. It's a lot easier when you play one of these fighters to leave money on the table. And they can outscore some of these high 9K guys that just have bad money line equity, but should be a fun fight to kick it off. So I'm with you, slightly Costa, but I could have more Borjas, and I wouldn't be surprised in DFS. Keep it moving. Next fight on the card, Ismail Bonfim taking on Vince Pichel. This fight was supposed to take place November 3rd, I believe, November 4th of last year. Bonfim missed weight, so the fight got scrapped. We get it this week. Everyone did make weight, actually, except Gomes made weight too, just under the weight, so it got canceled. But otherwise, every fighter made weight, so we should be good to go. Bonfim, one of the biggest favorites on the card at -600. Old man Vince Pichel, +425. This fight's -135 to finish. Bonfim +110. Pichel +525. Okay, we have Bonfim's ownership a little higher than I expected, and I still don't even love Bonfim. Like, I like Petrino more for 100 more. I like Michel Pereira more for 300 more. I like Oralbay more for 300 less. At ownership, I like Barbosa more for 400 less. I like Pantoja more in the main event, etc. So I have Bonfim is underweight, especially at this ownership. We have like 30. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like the mid-20s.
Yeah.
I still think he definitely has a path to the optimal. The lower his ownership is, the more I have interest in chalkier lineups. But again, I prefer others in a vacuum up top. Vince Pichel slows fights down. Like, if second round Bonfim finish might not be enough. Like, you want 110 for 9,300 on this card. So, yeah, I'm not going to have as much Bonfim in chalkier lineups. I think he's fine. He has the path for sure to put up a big score, though. I think what you cap him at his ownership determines kind of what my play is. Vince Pichel, I'm not really playing these big dogs in 20 entry and below, but maybe you can talk me into one of them.
Yeah, I really don't like this fight that much either, and I probably will lower Bonfim's ownership a little bit. I had ownership done before the Gomes cancellation, and then I kind of rushed it after that. So I'll update it again before these fights start, but I could definitely see me lowering that one because I really just don't like him that much compared to the people priced around him. He is like plus 110 or maybe it was minus 110 inside the distance.
Plus 110.
Plus 110 inside the distance. I mean, it's pretty solid, but I just like the other people around him to finish more.
The round one prop is bad relative. Plus 315. A lot of those are like the plus 150. So that's the big difference. But plus 110 isn't bad.
Yeah, and I mean, at 9,300, we probably want round one.
Yeah.
Because he is going to be our striker, where Pichel is a wrestler, but he's 41 years old now, so I really don't think he can chain wrestle 3 rounds of wrestling together anymore. Maybe he can have 1 or 2 rounds of success, steal a win on the scorecards that way. And if Pichel wins, I do expect him to score more than 10x, but I just don't expect him to win. If he has wrestling success in the first round, I think he'll slow down, and then Bonfim will start picking him apart on the feet. And I think Bonfim will get a knockout at some point, the more Pichel slows down anyways. But if Pichel does have 3 rounds in him, I still just like Bonfim to be the overall better fighter and win this fight on the feet. But at 9,300, we're going to need an early knockout. And I like the other people around him more. So I'm not going to fade him, but I can see me having like 10% Bonfim, something like that. I will be low on him. And then Pichel, not a guy I'm really interested in either. But with 150 lineups, I'd be okay getting, 5-10% of him as well, just because he's super low. He helps you get up to that 9K range where you want to get up to, and he's going to have to wrestle if he's going to win this fight. So don't like it overall, but I could see me in the 5 to 15% range on either one of them, really. But Bonfim would be my preferred play of the two because I do think he gets a knockout, but I think he gets a later knockout rather than early.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And again, I think we want early knockouts at 9,300. So I'm lower on Bonfim. He's definitely my preferred play, though. And again, I wouldn't be surprised to see like 25% ownership. And if that's the case, in chalkier lineups, in Urseg lineups, Pantoja lineups, Yeah, I guess there's only so many chalky fighters on the card. Just when you're cumulative ownership, when you're eating 3-4 guys that are 25+% owned, mixing in a Bonfim there, I think would be how I do it. I agree with you. If I'm playing 150, which I am in that $3, I'm going to have Vince Michelle in there. Now, 20 entry and below, lately I've been doing like the 20 teams in the big dollar or something like that, so I can cross off like what I write in the slate plan, etc. I donated too much money, maxing that large field over the years. Been almost first plenty of times, which would have paid big. If you're not first, especially how I play, you are not getting a lot of money back. So I've chilled on that. I won't get to Vince Michelle in 20 lineups. 150, I'll play some. To be honest, the only guy I might cross off in 150 is Potieria. I just think he gets absolutely worked by Pereira in the first round. Maybe Paul Craig, but I don't know. Like, that dude has burned me plenty of times in his life too. Like, he can definitely Jamal Hill fight. Don't remind me. So yeah, Pichel would be it will be in my 150 pool. 20 entry and below, I can't really get to there. I prefer other live dogs. Let's touch on this quick before we get to the next fight. Good question. Home cooking. I mean, judges are bad, period. Everyone knows it. They're bad in Brazil. They're bad everywhere. But when you know that at least they're bad, they will favor, in a close fight, a close decision, they will lean the Brazilian more than likely. Like, the crowd's going to be all Brazil. Does that go into your capping at all? I mean, I already like a decent amount of Brazilian fighters, but any thoughts on that?
Yeah, actually, Brazil's like the one place where I really like targeting home country fighters. I mean, the judges are always going to suck, but you got to have the loudest crowds out there rooting on the Brazilians and like cussing out everybody else. And these Brazilians are savages. They'll go out there and poison a non-Brazilian. So I always lean Brazilians in Brazil. And there have been cards where every single Brazilian has won. So it wouldn't shock me if that happens again. Like the Aldo fight later, that came into my capping for him. I think you can slightly favor him in that matchup because it's in Brazil. Anywhere else in the world, I think you got to favor Martinez. I mean, we'll get there. But yeah, Brazilians in Brazil, I always target.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I like a lot of Brazilians too. Hope that answers that question. And Pete, that is geek. Appreciate you hanging out. Very funny right there. Let's keep it moving. Next fight on the card. Diana Barbosa taking on Ernesta Carrasquete. Minus 230, Barbosa. Plus 195, Carrasquete. Ernesta's way easy. Let's go plus 195, Ernesta. This fight's plus 135 to finish. A lot of the finish equity on the Barbosa side. Plus 170. Ernesta plus 650. So when you see plus 140 or plus 135 to finish, not something you love, especially the 8,900 fighter, a lot better finishing odds at plus 170. But when you dig into this fight and you look at ownership, I mean, I like this fight a lot. At ownership, Barbosa is going to be one of the lowest owned in the top tier. It's a clash of styles. Barbosa wants it on the mat. If she gets it on the mat, you should have a big advantage. You can get takedowns, control time. She can get 110 in a decision at low ownership, which is always appealing. Plus 170 inside the distance isn't bad at all. So add in finishing equity to that. Big boy upside. Now, Carrasquete or Ernesta, whatever it is on the other side, she's the striker. She landed, 186 significant strikes or something absolutely insane on the Contender Series last fight? 184 to 168. Wins a split decision. Like, if she keeps it on the feet, she can easily score over, or she could easily land over 100 significant strikes. And for this price, and I mean, on this card, really, I just want to win for a dog. Like, it wouldn't completely shock me if no dogs win and Ernesta by decision or Ernesta decision loss scoring 50s enough, or Karolina Kowalkiewicz in a decision loss scores enough. Obviously, I'm going to act like we do need dog wins, but it's not a card where I think you need 100 in every single spot, since it is tough down here. I like both sides of this fight. I really don't care who I have more of. I want to be overweight on both, though. Barbosa gets takedowns, upsides there for low ownership. Ernesta, she's one of my favorite dogs, relatively speaking, keeps it on the feet, clear path. How do you see it?
Yeah, striker versus grappler matchup. I don't love it, but I think I like it more than the field, because if Barbosa wins this fight, it's going to have to come on the ground, and it could come with lots of control time, or it could come with a submission, and we would really like that submission to come early. But I was trying to think about her film, and I don't even remember her wrestling at this point, so I might have to go back and figure out how good of a wrestler she is. But once she gets it to the ground, I think she could dominate the fight there. But if she can't get it to the ground, I think that Karakady is just going to piece her up on the feet. And if she does win, she'll score more than 10x unless she's spending time on her back. Like if it's a split decision, half the fight's on the ground, half the fight standing, then neither one of them will score very well. But I do think that if either of them has their way, they can break this slate. So I'm fine with either one of them as my preferred play. Right now, I would say Barbosa is, but I just like other favorites so much more that I could see Karakady being in my single entry just because I have to move down somewhere. So solid fight to target, but at the same time, I could see the winner scoring 65 points. So I just don't know what the heck I'm going to do with this one. I think with my MME, I'd be more willing to have it in like half or more of my lineups. But with 20 or less hand builds, I feel like I'm going to be clicking on other fights more than this one. But I'll still get exposure to both sides. But give me Barbosa to win by submission.
Yeah, that all makes sense. I know I'm going to be way more exposed to this fight than I want to be. It's one of the lower owned owners, one of the lowest owned combined ownerships on the card, and you clear pass. Barbosa on the ground if she wins. Karakady on the feet, and she's a dog. Volume on the feet for a live dog is all I need to hear on this card. So, yeah, low-level women's MMA, I'm overexposed. Not really too much new, but at least I'll know if my night's over really early, and I wouldn't be surprised if I have one of these two on my team. Yeah. We'll see. John Kelly, what's going on? Go Collect. Appreciate you stopping in as well. Like button, we do appreciate a lot. Go Collect. Hope you're doing well. Enjoying the best ball streets, smashing in DFS. Let's keep it going. Next fight on the card. This one should be good. Mauricio Hoofey taking on Jamie Malarkey. Hoofey minus 110. Malarkey plus 180. Minus 250 for this fight to finish. Hoofey minus 140. Jamie Malarkey plus 390. Okay, we have ownership. Actually, I'll say this one. 31 for Hoofey, 19 for Malarkey. Again, I wouldn't be surprised to see Hoofey get a little more. 85 or 8,400. Yep, 8,400 with minus 140 inside the distance and minus 210 money line. And a lot of people, it feels clear as day in this fight. Malarkey's been knocked out 5 times. All 9 of Hoofey's wins are by knockout. Hoofey by knockout, minus 125. Hoofey in the first round, plus 185. If he wins, there's big upside there. Malarkey, his chin has been cracked multiple times. If I think it's going to be like 35-17 or something, though, Malarkey's a game theory play. If Sheets is watching this, he watches at least on playback or something, I think Malarkey's going to be one of Sheets' favorite plays this week. I know I'm going to have a decent amount, more than I want to. I think Malarkey's one of the best game theory leverage plays on the slate because people will gravitate to Hoofey. He stands out in the mid-tier. He's favored to finish as a big favorite compared to everyone else in that mid-tier. People will land on him, no doubt about it. He's the pick by knockout, but I don't always translate my picks to DFS. I probably will be more overweight on Malarkey. I still want a bunch of Hoofey too. I think it's solid chalk. It's about how you play them in certain lineups, but one of the best fights to target, I think.
Yeah, I like this fight. Both sides of it. I am picking Hoofey to get the win just because Malarkey's got a questionable chin and Hoofey throws hard. And I like the angles that he throws at too. So he could just hit Malarkey with something he doesn't even see coming. And it's going to be hard when he does hit him. So I think ultimately Hoofey's going to get the knockout. But for DraftKings, I'm going to put a max on him because he is a striker. I don't expect him to go out there and wrestle. He's also not a high volume striker. So it's really KO or bust for DraftKings. I think he could win a decision striking, but it's not going to help us on DraftKings. So Hoofey's odds to win in round 1 or 2 is plus 110. So that equals out to be about 47.5%. I'll probably max him at 47%, and that still seems too high for me, but it is the mid-range where I need to be squeezing fighters in. And then if he doesn't get the knockout, Malarkey's going to be the favorite to win this fight, I think. He can strike in this fight as long as he's not getting knocked out. I think he could win a striking match. He could knock Hoofey out too, but Malarkey's edge is going to be on the ground, and if he wins, I expect him to score more than 10x with 100-plus point upside. So I could see me having more Malarkey than Hoofey just because of the pricing. If I'm trying to squeeze in a Petrino or a Pereira, I'm probably not going to be able to get a whole lot of Hoofey. So Malarkey's an underdog I'm very interested in now that the Gomes fight is off. I lost one of the underdogs I was picking to win. So this is one where I was like kind of going back and forth on it. But I was just more impressed with the knockout upside of Hoofey, and that's why I picked him. But no strong feeling, so I'll get exposure to both sides. But with the ownership that I have it at, I could see my leverage side being Malarkey in this one.
Man, spot exactly pretty much what I said. You're on the same boat. I love it. Last thing I will add, Hoofey has taken money throughout the week. I mean, since open throughout the week as well. Open minus 155, Hoofey now all the way to minus 210. Was minus 173 just a couple days ago as well. So our picks Hoofey, but as you guys know, if you guys tune into the show almost every week, it's not necessarily who we pick. We're playing game theory. We're playing a sport against all these other humans, trying to win as much money as we can when we do win. And I think Malarkey is probably the better side. If Malarkey wins, you have a lot better chance of seeing less than 10 dupes on the optimal than if Hoofey does, for the easiest way to put it, in my opinion. Great fight, though. I will have plenty, no doubt about that. Let's keep it rolling, Big Marley. Drakkar close, Joaquin Silva minus 185 close, plus 160 Silva, minus 150 for this fight to finish. Close, plus 145 Silva, plus 280. I mean, another fight that's going to be pretty low owned at 8,700, 7,500. Like Drakkar close, solid money line. Not even that great, I guess. Solid money line for the price. Solid inside the distance for the price. But he has Pantoja for $100 more in the main event. That's going to get way more ownership. He has Hoofey, who we just talked about, for $300 less, who's going to get more ownership. Brito is $200 less. He's expected to finish at minus 105. He's going to get more ownership. Then you can go to like the Oralbays of the world, et cetera, at 9K. They're going to get more ownership. So just naturally, Drakkar close can't get much ownership. He's minus 185. He's plus 145 inside the distance. There's a path. I will be playing Drakkar close in chalkier lineups. If I'm fading the main event, I probably won't play Drakkar close. I can eat more chalk. If I'm playing Urseg, Hoofey, et cetera, maybe that's where I play Drakkar close. Also easier to leave money on the table. Joaquin Silva, it's a live dog without too many live dogs on this card. So I'll naturally have some. He's got big power, good inside the distance prop at plus 280. I just think Drakkar close is better, and he's the minute winner. So if Silva doesn't land a big one, he probably loses. More than likely, close probably wins and scores 90, which isn't enough. But when he wins, when you win, you want all the money. Close can give you a chance to win all the money by yourself. What do you see?
Yeah, I don't love this fight, but I just agree with everything that you said. I see Close being our minute winner in this one, our more likely knockout guy, which is probably what we need here from him at $8,700. But if Silva wins this fight, it's got to be a knockout or a submission, and he'll score well if that happens. I just don't see – I don't think that's likely, and I don't see him being the minute winner in this one unless Close just doesn't show up or something like that. But $8,700 for Close is just a lot to pay, and even at his ceiling in a decision, I don't know that he's –
No, you don't want a decision.
Yeah. So – overall, I won't be targeting this fight, but they both do have paths to the optimal lineup, so I won't be Xing them out either. Both of them have only hit, with their current prices, both of them have only hit more than 10X in half of their wins. So I don't love that. So I'll probably just use this for an MME only type of fight, and then no chance it's going to be in my single entry. But with 20 or less, maybe I'll get a little bit of Close. And like if I'm struggling to find dogs, maybe that's how Silva makes his way into my lineups that way. But I want to avoid this one with my hand builds and just leave it for MME. The lineups that I don't even know what are put together, maybe I can get something lucky in there if Close does pull it out. But yeah, overall fight, I'm not looking to target. Give me Close to win a decision though, and probably score 75 points.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing with anything you said. Like I like that Barbosa fight more, the Karaskate Barbosa fight. That's expected to go the distance, where this is slightly expected to finish, but it's going to be low owned. Close will probably be the lowest owned in the upper tier, if not second lowest or something like that behind Lucindo. Silva's going to get some ownership just because you need dogs, which I think makes Close my preferred play, but $1,200 savings plus 160 for 7,500 is really good win equity relative to a lot of these other dogs below. So dangerous live. I'll be mixing in both. I don't love it in a vacuum, though. I agree. If I make one team, Yeah, unless I just want to try and solo ship, I would maybe go close, but yeah, probably would not play either of this fight just in single entry with one team on the line. Next fight on the card, this one should be fun. Macbeth Oralbay taking on Elvis Brenner, minus 250 Oralbay, plus 210 is Elvis Brenner. This fight plus 100 to finish. So it's minus 110. I always go bet online for everyone that asks. Like it's minus 115 at DraftKings right now. Always price shop. Came down from minus 110 to plus 100 though on bet online. Oralbay plus 200 inside the distance. Brenner plus 350. So both of it. Inside the distance props on both guys went up a little bit too. So some money came in on the over, which is interesting. Oralbay can still get there in the over. I'll throw it right to you on this fight though. Oralbay has so many paths to a big score. So strong is wrestling. And Elvis Brenner, I don't know if you know Elvis Brenner personally or something, but man, the Guram fight, you were all over it. He comes into the UFC against Tukhugov too, plus 470, plus 470. Like he's cashing some big boy dogs. Plus 210 is a solid dog. Can he get it done again? I like this fight. No doubt about that.
Yeah, I like this fight a good amount, but I am picking Oralbay in this one. I just think he's our more likely minute winner with his wrestling ability. And he landed 7 takedowns in 2 rounds in his last fight. And those are just fighters that I love to target on DraftKings. The guys who you don't even care if they go to a decision or not, and they can still score 120 plus points. Those are the guys I like to call DraftKings gold. And I could see Oralbay having that kind of upside in the UFC. But this is also a fight where you're not safe on the ground against Brenner. Brenner's very dangerous with the submissions. He's got knockout upside as well. And if Brenner wins this fight, I expect him to score more than 10x and possibly 100 plus, because I think it's more likely a finish if he wins. But with Oralbay, he could finish the fight too and score well. He could also score 120 in the decision. So he's going to be closer to a core play for me. I like Oralbay a good amount. And then Brenner, he'll be in most of my non-Oralbay lineups. But I feel like this is one where I'm starting my single entry with Oralbay rather than looking for other favorites and then going down to a Brenner. I really like Oralbay this weekend. But yeah, good fight to target both sides of. I could see me having this in like 75% of my entire lineups.
I agree. Yeah, I don't really have much more to add. I mean, Oralbay at 26. I try and limit the hype on some guys now. I don't like go out there, second fight in the UFC. This is a world champion. That's a stretch. But man, the dude looks to have the goods. Like if he can manhandle guys like he did last fight on the ground, from what I've seen, he can strike too. That's the thing though. Like I think he's going to be fine taking Brenner down. Like he'll trust himself to be safe, stay heavy on top. But I don't know for sure. Like Brenner, really good grappling. He can catch something there. If Oralbay has success on the feet, do you think there's a chance that he doesn't even bother getting it to the mats? Because if so, that's how this fight, Oralbay can still knock him out. But even his 3rd round knockout, a 2nd round knockout might not be enough. Like I want wrestling from Oralbay is why I'm playing him. So what are your thoughts on that?
I do expect Oralbay to wrestle, not like the entire time like he did in his last fight, but I do think it's going to be in his game plan. And I don't, like if you told me he was not going to get any takedowns in this fight, then
You're not
change that from core play to underweight for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it's a tough call, but I also put it as a 4-star for that reason rather than a 5-star, but it is closer to a 5-star fight than a 3-star fight for me.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense to me. I like this fight a lot as well. I'll be playing Elvis Brenner as one of the dogs down there too, since in a win, he has a lot of upside. He's beat a lot of good fighters. He's game, like a lot of fighters out of that camp. I'm with you, though. Oralbay looks like a stud. I ain't picking against him quite yet. Keep it rolling. Next fight on the card, one that'll be low-owned, one that I do not have much interest in. The second of 2 women's fight on this card. Yasmin Lucindo taking on Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Minus 400 Lucindo, or plus 300 is Kowalkiewicz. This fight's plus 155 to finish, and all of that finish equity on the Lucindo side at plus 140. Kowalkiewicz plus 1650 inside the distance. Okay, Big Marley. I was going back and forth on this one. So we have Lucindo at 18%, which is the 2nd lowest in the upper tier behind your card close. I definitely think that is going to be the case. If you play Lucindo, or if I play Lucindo, it'll be in chalkier lineups. However, in a vacuum, it is so much harder for me to click 9,200 Lucindo then Pereira for 400 more, Oralbay 200 less, Pantoja for less. Like, you go down the list. I don't know. Talk to me. Is there takedown upside in this one? Carolina, though, if she wins, I will take that score any day of the week. What did she score? 90, 104. Like, she scored well her past 3 decision wins. Throwing a ton of volume at this point of her career. She's so outgunned. Lucindo, 22? Kowalkiewicz, 36. All the age advantage on the Lucindo side, the speed on the Lucindo side, the power, the danger, everything is on the Lucindo side. But we see plus 300 dogs win all the time in MMA. If I do pick a dog on a card I don't like many dogs, might as well go to women's MMA. Feels like dogs happen every single week with good volume. And I mentioned earlier, just say all favorites win, all 13 favorites. Carolina's got to be one of the favorites to be on the optimal as a dog, in my opinion, just because the volume she throws and this fight expecting to go the distance. I'm not playing it that way. I guess I'm saying that it's not the craziest stack week if you want to go Pantoja or Urseg. I'm not going to do that personally. But yeah, a lot of big favorites. I'll be playing some of both fighters. Prefer Kowalkiewicz at the discount. But I'll play Lucindo in chalkier lineups because I do think she has a path like Bonfim. What do you see?
Yeah, I agree. Lucindo's an ownership play. If you have a chalky lineup, you want to get a little bit different, then you throw Lucindo in. She does have takedown upside. She landed 4 takedowns against Brogan Walker. Didn't help her at all. She still only scored 73 DraftKings points. But KK was taken down 5 times by Yan Ziona, a striker. She was taken down twice by Gomez Juarez. I could definitely see Lucindo taking her down multiple times in this fight. But at $9,200, I just don't know how Lucindo's going to make the optimal lineup over the people that she's priced around. So I'm mostly going to avoid her. And then KK is my preferred play because she's only 7K. She is a high-paced striker. She could also mix in a takedown or 2 of her own. And KK has 9 UFC wins. 8 of them are decision wins. And she averages almost 89 DraftKings points in her wins.
Crazy.
So I expect the same thing here if she is able to get it done. And like you mentioned, if all favorites win, KK is going to be on the optimal lineup. So I agree. I'm on the KK side for DraftKings. But she's on the way out. Lucindo's on the way up. I'm picking Lucindo to win the fight. But I just don't see – I won't get any Lucindo exposure in 10 or less. I doubt I get her in 20 less. But in 150, I'll keep her in my pool. But it would be more of an ownership play, just trying to get a little bit different from these other top-tier plays on the slate. But yeah, I think KK is a lot more live than Vegas does.
Yeah. I'll probably I'm going to keep Lucindo in my 20 pool because I know I'm going to be playing Urseg, Hoofey, some of these popular dogs. But I'm going to cap her probably at 20%. If I got 0, I would be perfectly fine with that. I have a feeling I probably won't because I do like mixing in fighters like that because I want first place with very few people. If Lucindo puts up 120, you have very few people that you have to beat. Cornhole a couple weeks ago, was she 8% owned after the first fight? 92% of the field are pretty much drawing stone dead. Then you don't even need the nuts because you're only competing against 8% of 30,000 or whatever it may be. Do the math. It's not guaranteed that someone's going to have the nuts. Oh, what was the other one? Freaking, who was Chalk Boy, 8,300 guy that fought low-owned 6,900 guy that just lost last week? Yeah, gets rocked in the first round. So 50 or whatever percent dead. Leverage, the game theory play is 7%. All in 7% of teams. You don't need the stone nuts then. You're competing against so many less people. The dupes are way less, etc. So that's the reason I'll be playing Lucindo. I think takedown upside is there. And Carolina just pushes the pace. She throws more volume. I think she forces Lucindo to do something if you want to try and talk yourself into that side. If you're only playing 1 team, 5 teams, probably 10 teams, I doubt I get there myself either. But for those out there, 18 or what is it? $25? Man, $25 is up there this week. $25 and you're pretending that you're burning it, but if you win, you want 100K plus. I don't think Lucindo's the craziest play there. Just know what you're getting yourself into. 100 might not be enough. 100 might not be enough. Let's keep it going. Next fight on the card. This one should be fun too. Joe Anderson Brito, Jack Shore, -185 Brito, +160 is Jack Shore. This fight's -175 to finish. Came down a little bit too. It was -200 all week until yesterday morning. And I will admit, I was a little surprised to see -200, especially with Jack Shore. Brito -105 inside the distance. Jack Shore plus 380. Another fight in the mid-tier. I'm going to have some. 8,500 Brito, 7,700 Jack Shore. Jack Shore's as live as any dog is, in my opinion. And he has grappling upside, wrestling upside. Even in a decision win, you will take that from Jack Shore at 7,700 more than likely. Brito, grown-ass man, strong, slightly favored to finish at minus 105. You can leave money on the table easier playing Brito, just like Hoofey, etc., the Costa, the Borralho fight. Another mid-tier fight I'm going to play. We'll get to a later mid-tier fight. The last one, Aldo Martinez. I don't like that one much, so I'll be playing these fights instead in the mid-tier. Man, my preferred play, I think, probably is the savings with 800. But I've gone back and forth, and I just think Brito might just be too big, too fast, too strong. Like, you're in a bar fight and you're looking at both these dudes, you're picking Brito. So he's dangerous, but short skill. How do you see this fight?
Yeah, I'm on the short side, actually. Brito, he's definitely got the knockout upside. I don't know that Shore has any knockout upside here, but a 15-minute striking match, I could see Shore winning that. Brito also has pretty good wrestling, but I think Shore's a better wrestler. I think he's a better grappler. I think he's got better control. So I'm on the underdog here, and Shore averages 98 DraftKings points in his wins. He's never scored less than 87 in a win. So if you're telling me we're going to get 87 or more at $7,700, I want to load up on that. And then on the Brito side, he's got upside too, but I just like other favorites more. So I'll probably be a little bit underweight to him, and I will be overweight to Shore. He's my favorite underdog on the card. Not that I'm confident in him winning, but I am confident that he's going to score well if he does win, and I think he has a clear path to victory on the ground. Not clear. I don't think it's going to be an easy time, but yeah. I just love his wrestling and grappling pace. So give me Shore on this one.
Yeah, no, I it makes sense. His round one against Makwan was so bad last fight. Like, Makwan's dangerous in round one and then dies, so Shore finished him in round two. But man, if Brito can keep any pace, he just so fit. Like, the entries for Shore have to be so good and so technical. Otherwise, Brito's physical strength advantage. Shore coming up to 145. He did the last fight, fought a lot at 135. Like, Brito's, he's grown. He's strong. He can just toss you off. I wanted to go Shore, and I still very well might have more Shore than Brito because of the price, but I ended up taking Brito. And Brito's taken money the past couple of days. Shore got all the way down to plus 117. I believe that's Monday, April 30th, and now plus 160. So some late money has been on Brito. This fight opened minus 120, plus 100 for Jack Shore, or for Brito, excuse me. Minus 120, plus 100 for Brito. Got Shore plus 117 a couple days ago, now plus 160. A fight I will have for sure, though. And if you tell me Shore wins and you tell me Brito wins, I do think Shore at that price tag has a better chance at the optimal by a decent bit than Brito, which is kind of what you're saying right there.
Yeah, I actually think, like, if these guys fought 100 times, the Shore wins would average more than the Brito wins.
Yeah, I like it. Decision, yeah. The only thing is you got to be a little nervous. Close decision, you're in Brazil. That's the only problem right there. But, yeah, no, probably not a 7,700 dog on the winner, a loser on the winner, unless you're putting up a Dana Argueta performance if he was able to survive another 5 minutes. But I don't really see that in this one. In a loss, like, unless Brito catches him with a sub, which could happen as well, like he did against Jonathan Pierce. We'll keep it going. Plenty of fights. Actually, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights left on the card. A lot of big favorites. We're going to talk about 3 big favorites these next 3 fights before 2 closely lined fights. My least favorite of these next 3 fights, Caio Borralho, Paul Craig, minus 645 is Caio, plus 470 is Paul Craig, minus 175 for this fight to finish. Caio, minus 140, Paul Craig, plus 650. I guess, like, I'll throw it to you on, is Caio going to even wrestle? Like, is he going to? Otherwise, he can beat Paul Craig on the feet. He can probably knock him out. He can take his easiest path to victory. Paul Craig can do some crazy things, man, because if he does wrestle, he probably is fine, but probably is not as much as I feel confident than if it just stays on the feet. At the end of the day, I don't like this fight much relative to the Pereira fight. I like what's his nuts? Vitor more that we're going to talk about, Pantoja more. I'm not going to have much of this Caio fight personally. Hope he wins, scores like 90, 95, which he's done a lot in his career.
Yeah, I like the fight more than you, But I don't think Borralho should wrestle. I think he could and maybe could stay safe, but that's where he puts himself in danger. Even if he is in top control, he is not safe on the ground. But on the feet, he should have a clear. I mean, I'd be shocked if he lost his fight on the feet at all, really. Maybe Craig could knock him out. He just looks like he has power. He could throw some hard leg kicks. But, man, I'd be pretty shocked to see Craig knock out Borralho on the feet anyways. Maybe on the ground, he could get a TKO or something like that. But he is minus 140 inside the distance. That's pretty solid. I think it would most likely be a knockout if that happens. But he had a knockdown in his last win, and he scored crap. What was it? Where are you at, bro? There he is. He scored 68 points in a win with a knockdown. That's not great, especially if you're paying $9,500. So I don't really love Borralho for DraftKings here because he's so high priced, and I don't think he should wrestle much. And then on the other end, but I am picking him to win though. But on the other end, Craig, he's my favorite sub 7K play on the slate. He's got, I believe, like 9 UFC wins. 7 of them, he scored over 90 points. And if he's going to win this fight, it's going to be a submission. And he's got a good chance of making it early and scoring 90-plus points here. So I think that Craig has a much better chance of breaking the slate. So he's probably my preferred play. But I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if I have Borralho in my single entry, I guess. So I don't really have much of a preferred play on this, I guess. Cool with either side. Cool fading it. I don't really care on this one too much. But I think if I was Borralho's coach, I'd be telling him, avoid the ground at all cost and then just cruise to a win on the feet. Even if you don't knock him out, it should be an easy win, but you're not going to score well on DraftKings. So maybe you're right. Maybe it's just a better fight to fade, but there's no way I'm fading Craig at like $6,700 because if he wins, I expect 90-plus points.
I know I'm going to fade this in 20 entry and below. It'll definitely be scary. Most Paul Craig fights are scary. He's burned me enough. It's nothing. No Paul Craig win will ever hurt as much as the Sweet Dreams loss when Paul Craig snapped his arm. So the thing is, Kyle at 9,500, it's a great segue. Michel Pereira is 9,600. I mean, I think he walks through Potieria in this fight. Maybe in a minute. I got him in the first round. I think he puts up 110 plus. I just cannot click Kyo's name over Michel Pereira if I'm spending up that much. I do think you get a little discount. Let's go. Michel Pereira minus 700. Potieria plus 500. Minus 500 for this fight to finish. Michel Pereira minus 260. Potieria plus 450. Pereira plus 120 in round 1. Now, anytime I'm going to see this guy's name, it's going to give me a little nightmares. Buddy hurt Olajaychuk to the body 20 seconds in the fight. Needed that 1-minute bonus for the 137K, two-way chop. Buddy got it done with milliseconds after round 1. So tilting. Went for the neck, playing around with his food. Tilting. But he has looked so good at 185, and I think he absolutely walks through Potieria. If you want some narrative, etc., Ihor sends Shogun off to the hills on the retirement fight and starts celebrating. Now this fight's in Brazil. People love themselves some Shogun. Michel Pereira, man, is going to make this look easy, I think. Hurts him. I got him by knockout. If he wants to sub him, sure. Ihor or Michel Pereira by whatever you want. If Ihor wins, he's going to score. There's no doubt he's going to score. I think it's him clutching Pereira with something. I probably will still have 0 in 150 teams. Maybe not, because that plus 450 inside the distance prop is interesting. Yeah, I just think he gets cooked. And Pereira is not going to be high enough owned because he's 9,600 to make the leverage necessarily worth it. You're playing him because if he wins, he's just going to be on the optimal. I don't know. You mentioned Paul Craig was your favorite down there. If I had to pick one, mine's Anthony Smith, who we'll talk about next fight. But if Ihor wins, I'll argue he has the most upside of anybody down there because I think it's KO early. But yeah, Michel Pereira, if you can fit him. It's hard to fit, though.
Yeah, I'm going to be Pereira or pass on this one. I don't see me getting to Potieria. If he wins, it's a first-round knockout, but I just don't think that's very likely at all, and I think he's going to slow down as the fight moves along. I think Pereira's the better striker. I think Pereira's the better wrestler. I think Pereira's more durable. I think Pereira has more power, so I just really like Pereira. But the one thing I don't like is that he's $9,600. He's got 8 wins in the UFC. He's never scored more than 103. So if you tell me we're getting 103,
last fight, he should have got 120 freaking 3. Fuck
True.
that.
True. But even if we get his match, if we get a 103 at $9,600, I don't think that's going to be enough. So I don't know if I'm going to be over or under on Pereira. I'll get as much as I can afford, but I'm not going to make it a point to afford
I
him.
agree.
And I'm okay getting Borralho instead of him too, just to get a little bit different. So a first round knockout, as long as it's not in the first 60 seconds, I can't guarantee that Pereira's going to be on the optimal lineup at $9,600. So I see me being slightly underweight to the field. But when I was thinking ownership, I was thinking he would be closer to like 40, 45%. And then as I was doing it, I just couldn't get there. So
I think he's going to be like 33.
Yeah, I feel like that's right around where I put it. That's actually exactly where I started at, and then I changed it with the Gomi fight, I think. I think if he's going to be more...
The dogs are so tough. Like, if you're playing them all the way up, that means you probably want to punt. Or just no, almost all Pereira plays have Urseg. So if you want to get different right there, Pantoja, Pereira, figure it out. Not sure how much I'll do it. But they're so, like, the dogs just aren't good down there. Like, Urseg, if you go Pereira first, Urseg's almost everyone's second. So the combination of that, and I'm not saying I'm going to avoid that because you still have other 4 spots. But what I'm trying to say is I'd be shocked to see Pereira 40% on this card at 9,600.
Yeah, I probably agree. And I was having that same trouble. I've only built one. I have my shell in right now, but I was trying to get to Pereira in that lineup. And I couldn't find the price. So I don't know if I had to go to like Petrino or Borralho. But I was trying to figure out, all right, what the heck do I change out here? I really want to get this, plus 120 in round 1 in my lineup. But then the more I looked at it, I was like, I don't have to have Pereira. Vitor could do the same thing. Borralho could do the same thing. So yeah, I'm not going to make it a point, and I could see me being underweight to him. But he's got the best metrics on the slate with that plus 120 in round 1. What's his inside the distance line?
Minus 260, minus 240, 60. I mean, he's going to walk through them. He's good.
Yeah, he's got over a 70% chance of finishing the fight. So it's hard to avoid.
110 might not be enough. Like, that's the thing. Is when I'm not playing, if I'm underweight on Pereira, 110 still might be enough. Petrino can do it. Oralbay can do it. Pantoja can do it. Like, dogs all lose. And then, like, even though it might be crazy, but 120 from Pereira is the highest score on the slate, but every favorite wins still might not be on the optimal. It's a pricing game, etc. Like, if a couple others score 112, 113, there's Pereira can go out there and do his job, get a first round finish like he did last time, and still not even sniff the optimal, which is the point of not really playing him. I don't know if I'll be overweight, underweight. I care about other exposures more. If I have 50% Pereira, perfect. I'm all in. If I have 15% Pereira and I love everything, I'll roll with it and be scared. But that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, and $9,600 is historically not a great price tag for DraftKings either. So another reason, if you're looking for reasons to get off of him and those great metrics, he could just do what he's supposed to do and not make it.
Yeah, 100%. We got 3 fights left. Let's get to another big boy favorite right here. Again, appreciate everyone hanging out, watching live, watching on playback. Like button, subscribe button helps us out a ton. Minus 550, Vitor Petrino. Plus 400, Anthony Smith. Minus 180 for this fight to finish. Petrino minus 140 inside the distance. Anthony Smith plus 600. Pricing on this fight, Petrino 9,400. Anthony Smith 6,800. I said my favorite below 7K was Anthony Smith, and that's because I think he's the most live, because I still think there's some questions that need to be answered on Petrino. Still young in his UFC career, hasn't fought the best of the best. How's he going to handle a couple Anthony Smith low kicks? I don't know. I'm a calf kick sucker. Anthony Smith's been in there with the best of the best. No doubt he's over the hill, over out of his prime, but he still loves the game, it feels like, as much as everybody. He's talking in the MMA. He's up in the booth with Dean Thomas and stuff. Like, the dude is all in on MMA. He is a kind of a smart IQ fighter. He has no chin. That's a big problem. Takedown defense isn't great either. Petrino should be better wherever the fight goes. But, man, if Anthony Smith throws 3 hard low kicks in the first minute, you ain't going to want to hold minus 550. So that's kind of my thing there. With all that being said, I don't even know if I'll play Smith in 20 entry and below. Again, I like crossing off a lot of those big dogs. It feels like someone probably wins. I hope not. And I'll mix in like the Kowalkiewicz's, Karakaitis of the world, Joaquin Silva's of the world, the Brenners is kind of my plan. But in 150, I know I'm going to play some Anthony Smith. I like Petrino, but I mean, he's going to be pretty popular. I'm just going to mix and match those dogs or those favorites up top in the 9K range, depending on ownership, depending on the rest of my builds. I think this line may be a little wide, though, if I'm being honest. How do you see it?
Yeah, I like Petrino in this one. I mean, he looks just like me when I take my shirt off, so it's hard not to look like. I mean, hard not to like him. But I do think he has every advantage in this fight, aside from submission grappling. If Smith wins, I think it's most likely a submission at some point. Even if it is leg kicks and Petrino starts, rushing takedowns, I could see him getting caught in a submission ultimately. But if this is a 15-minute striking match, I favor Petrino. If there's a knockout, I definitely favor Petrino. And if one of these guys is going to land 5+ takedowns, I definitely favor Petrino. So he just has a lot more ways to score well. Smith has been TKO'd 10 times already, and Petrino has some of the biggest power in the division. So I'm taking Petrino to get a knockout. And I'm absolutely fine going Petrino over Pereira for $200 less if that's what I need to do. And I'm also fine taking my favorite Pereira lineup and putting Petrino in instead and leaving the $200. So I will have more Petrino exposure than Pereira. But he's going to have to wrestle a lot or get a knockout to make it happen. And he had like 3 takedowns in his last fight and he scored crap. So that's kind of a worry. And this is a tougher matchup as well. He scored 67 points with 3 takedowns. That's not great, but he scored 94, 104, and 116 in his 3 fights before. The 94 is not great at 9,400, but if this guy scores 100+ points,
he scores 104. I'm having 0.
At 104?
0.
I would take some at 104. Because I can see him scoring 104 and then Pereira score 103. And then
I don't want either then. I don't want either. Someone, whether it's a Kaio, who I don't even love much, whether it's, I think he gets outscored. But I would rather Bonfim, which, again, I don't love. But, again, we don't know what they're going to score in a win. I think you're probably going to need more than 105 from the 9K guys. But the 116, I'll take 116. That was a wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
116, I'm loading up.
Yeah.
But I do think Petrino's my favorite pay up option as long as I can afford it. I'm also not going to force him into lineups either. If I just need to hover in the mid range, I'm fine doing that because he actually should get outscored by Pantoja, assuming both of them win. But that main event's just going to be an all-in fight for me. So loading up on that one, but I will be heavy on Petrino here. I think he gets a first-round knockout and sends Smith just that much closer to retirement.
Yeah, makes some sense. Do you think Alex Pereira will be on UFC 301? No, he will not be on UFC 301. Didn't weigh in, wasn't supposed to be on the card. I know there was something I saw on Twitter. He mentioned something UFC 301. That takes place tomorrow, though. That's the card we're talking about. He will not be there. It's not the WWE. You're not going to see no John Cena, The Rock come back after a couple years or whatever it is. 2 fights left, co-main event time. You hinted your hand on both these next 2 fights on the Aldo side and all in on the main event. So -145, Martinez, +125. Jose Aldo, +170 for this fight to finish. Martinez, +275. Aldo, +450. I don't like this fight for DFS. I like it real life. I'm a big Jonathan Martinez guy. Leg kicks, body kicks, high kicks, very good kicks. He's printed for me, except the Davey Grant fight, which definitely costed me a boatload of cheese. Knocked out in the second round. I'm always going to be worried about the chin a little bit because of that fight. It hasn't fell apart, I guess, since then. I think it's like a 6-fight winning streak for Martinez. He's really skilled. I like him. But Aldo can also kick. Leg kicks are nasty. I know you're in. It's supposed to go to decision. You're in Brazil. It's Jose Aldo. So that's everything that you capped. I still think Martinez just picks him apart with the kicks. Does he finish him? I don't know. If he does, it's probably late. And even that doesn't score enough. So I like Martinez by either late KO or finish. But I still don't like it in DFS. I like the Borjas fight more right away. I like the Malarkey fight more we talked about. I like the Brito Shore fight more. So I just won't have much of this fight. I'm going to cap both guys for like 15% max maybe or something like that. And if they hit, they hit. But I don't like it. Give me Martinez. What about you?
Yeah, I'm Aldo or pass on this one, but it is one of my least favorite fights on the card because the name Aldo is going to bring more ownership than I'm willing to get personally. And then Martinez, I've never been like sold on Martinez, but he does. His best attribute is his leg kicks for sure. but he's going against the original leg kicker in Jose Aldo. I think Aldo, I mean, now we got like no USADA. We're back in Brazil. Judges are corrupt. The fans are going to be crazy. I don't know. Everything's just leading me to Aldo in this one, but I don't even think he scores 10x in a win because I don't think he's going to get a knockout. I don't think either of these guys are going to wrestle. So I'm just going to let the field pay the rake, hopefully. And I'm just hoping the winner scores 65 points, and I don't even care who it is. But I am on the edge of maybe betting Aldo in this one. So I won't X him out. I do think I might X out Martinez. I will X out Martinez with 20 or less. 150, I don't know what I'm going to – I don't even know if I'm going to do 150 on this card or not. But if I do, I don't know that I'm going to X him out, but I would also be okay with 0% Martinez in 150. I would also be okay with 0% Aldo in 150 too. So favorite fight on the card to fade, but I'll take the underdog to win.
Makes some sense. Big Marley, you want to touch on this quick? Because I was thinking the same thing. I knew the answer, though. Come on, man. You're looking good.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I just weighed myself today. I was down 13 pounds. I quit marijuana this week, so that's why my appetite's not quite the same. I've been going hard in the gym, though. But, yeah, I was shocked to see the scale today. Finally under 200 pounds.
Looking good, Big Marley. Absolutely looking good. Keep up that grind. Love to see that. Last fight on the card. Main event time, baby. Alexander Pantoja taking on Steve Erceg. Minus 182, Pantoja. Plus 157. Erceg, minus 150 for this fight to finish. Pantoja plus 160, Steve Erceg plus 250. All right, so I'm going to throw it to you on this. Pantoja, how much wrestling, grappling does he do? Because you said all-in fight. If Erceg wins, who is my preferred play in this fight, I do not see how he's not on the optimal. Question is, Pantoja, if he wins, do you see pass, and what are the pass that he's not on the optimal? Like, do you think he wrestles early? He's had some monster scores lately, but take Royval down, he'll chill off his back and do nothing all fight. Like, that was pretty obvious. I don't know, man. Like, Erceg's a good, solid grappler, solid takedown defense. Talk to me how you see this fight going. Is there past Pantoja wins, whether it's a finish in the third round, a decision, and isn't optimal? Because I didn't plan on making the rule, but he's also 8,800. Like, if he wins, I do prefer him over Petrino, over all of them except Pereira. But then you can leave money way easier too. Take this fight away. It's going to be high owned. No doubt about that.
Yeah, I'm just going to be all in because I have a hard time seeing either one of them not on the optimal lineup. If it's not, it would be a Pantoja decision win where he only lands one or less takedowns. But I think his biggest edge is going to be on the ground. So he's going to need those takedowns. He's going to need the control time. And he's coming off a back-to-back 143-point wins. So he has the highest ceiling on the slate. 8,800. I mean, he's freaking $800 cheaper than Pereira. And if they both win, I expect Pantoja to outscore him. So I love Pantoja at 8,800. However, I like Pereira. I like Vitor. So this is kind of leading me to maybe being overweight on Erceg. I think Erceg's super live in this fight. He could wrestle. He could grapple. But I think Erceg might have the overall striking edge in this one, probably a little bit more powerful as well. And I just think it's a little bit closer to a pick'em fight. I do give Pantoja the overall edge just because he's got the experience. He's fought much tougher competition. He looks like a fighter, but Erceg's a beast, man. I like Erceg, and it won't shock me at all to see him be the champion this weekend. It'll just be weird to see a belt around that accountant's waist, but I think he's got all the skills to do it. I'm just going to have this fight in, I think, every single one of the lineups that I create because of their pricing. If Pantoja was like $9,500, then I could get away from him a little bit more. But at $8,800 with the highest ceiling on the entire card, I can't. I just want to have like maybe 50% Pantoja, 50% Erceg. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I think I'm going to make a rule that this is in every single one of my lineups because I don't feel good. I mean, I don't feel great about a lot of the other fights compared to this one. And if Erceg wins, I mean, $7,400, like how does he not end up on the optimal lineup? So I'll say right now, the shell that I have, it has Erceg in it just because I wanted to get the favorites that I like. But it won't shock me to see me change that to Pantoja. I don't even care which one of these guys is in my single entry, but I know one of them will be. And I'll have 100% of this fight. It's going to be a fun one. I'm picking Pantoja to win, But like as the days go by, I feel like Ursic's more and more live. So I don't know, man. I could even change my pick tomorrow to Ursic. So I don't know. Looking forward to it. Should be a high-paced fight. We got 5 rounds to work with. Should see a full MMA game from both of these guys. I can't wait for it. But yeah, loading up on this one.
Yeah, it'll be a great fight. I know my preferred play is Steve Ursig. The 1,400 savings, if he wins, he definitely, like, I'd be shocked to see him win and not on the optimal. Whereas I think Pantoja in a win is still optimal too, but I guess I wouldn't be completely shocked. The line is closed in on Ursig throughout the week as well. He has the tail of the tape advantage, the bigger fighter, good grappler. Like if he can stuff takedowns, he's strong. It feels wrong. He should not be getting a title fight off of a Matt Schnell knockout. But it also, like, do we see Royval? Like, Royval's hurt. Like, does people want to see Moreno again? I think he's on it. Like, there really isn't many options at this weight class either. I'm expecting a good fight. I'm going to have more Ursig. Definitely still going to have some Pantoja as well. I will say, though, I wouldn't be shocked if Ursig comes in a little higher owned than Pantoja on this card. If Ursig's like 48% owned, Pantoja's like 42% owned. I know we don't have it like that. I doubt anybody in the industry has it like that. But it's similar to last week where I do think it's just so much easier to click Alex Perez's name over Nicolau's name last week. And with the lack of dogs on this card in the 1,400, I would not be surprised. I still like Ursig more because when he does win, I think it's optimal. If he loses a decision, he still might be on the optimal if we don't have enough dogs come through on this card. So that's all 13 fights. Robin, make sure to check my reply. If you need my Venmo, man, I will definitely take you up on that. Upgrade. I don't know. This mic's like $75, $80. You send me 100 piece, I will grab a little better mic from you. Would be much appreciated. Memberships will not get me another mic.
I'm pretty sure they're like $300 if you get a good one, though, Robin.
300.
Make sure you send more.
Let's up it. Yeah, 200 plus, Robin, if you want to see a new Title Town mic. Otherwise, it's going on like year 4, year 5. You ain't gonna see another mic right here. If you do want to sign up for a membership, though, Millie 15 gets you 15% off monthly, 6-month, annual package. Shiptimizer just came out. Definitely check out that PGA show, the first 25 minutes with Tambo and Hoop answering some questions. If you're a member, PGA only, you get to check the PGA Shiptimizer the next 30 days for free. Just MLB only, you can check MLB for it. If you're an all package, monthly, 6-month, or annual, you can check out all the sports. MMA will be up in about a month. We're not charging yet. We have a Shiptimizer thing in Discord. If you have questions, I see Tambo in there answering stuff all the time. No better time. Get over NHL going on, MLB going on, NBA, MMA, PGA, NASCAR, chippination.com, Millie15, 15% off. Definitely do get in the Discord. If you do join, awesome stuff as always, Big Marley. Good luck. Hoop. Good luck. Deepwater. Good luck. Hold on. I keep forgetting dude's name, but I'm not going to leave you out. And if you're in the live final or online final for now, and you haven't let us know in your Shipping Nation, let me know. I will be cheering for you and your thing. Hold on. Where is this? JP Bar. Good luck to you as well. Let's advance to the next round. Somebody from Shipping Nation win some big bucks in the $3, in the $25. Enjoy some violence. Brazil, always a fun crowd. Good luck, Big Marley. Stay grinding. Awesome talking fights. Like always, thank you, Little Neck. Have a great day. Good luck. Be safe for Big Marley on Title Town. Peace.